You know the feeling, right? That project that starts with so much excitement and then just fizzles out. Well, today we're going to dig into why that happens and, more importantly, how to make sure it never happens to you again. We're talking about setting your projects up for success right from the get-go, getting that crystal clear vision before a single line of code is written or a single brick is laid. Seriously, take a second. Think about the worst project you've ever been a part of. Come on, you know the one. It started out great, full of promise, but then chaos. Deadlines just became suggestions, nobody knew what they were supposed to be doing, and the finish line kept moving. It's maddening, and it happens all the time, doesn't it? So, what's the deal? Well, a lot of that project chaos, it can usually be traced back to this one sneaky little villain. It's a true project killer that creeps in when you're not paying attention. Its name? Scope creep. And trust me, it's the #1 reason good projects go bad. All right, so let's talk about this nightmare scenario. Let's drag this villain, scope creep, out into the open and really understand what we're up against. So, what is scope creep really? It's actually pretty simple. It's when the goals of your project just keep expanding, but your time, your money, your resources, nope, they stay exactly the same. It's every, hey, can we just add this one little feature? Or, you know what would be cool? That slowly, piece by piece, starts to sink the whole ship. And look, the difference this makes is it's huge. It's night and day. On one side, you've got a project with total clarity. The goals are clear, deadlines are met, and hey, the team is actually happy. On the other side, that's the land of scope creep. It's just a mess of moving targets, missed deadlines, and a team that is completely stressed out and demoralized. We've all seen both, and we know which one we'd rather be on. Okay, so how do we make sure our projects always live on that happy, clear side? Well, it's a lot like building a house, right? You can't start with a roof. You have to start with a rock-solid foundation. And here's the thing. Building that unshakable foundation, it's not magic, and it's not luck. It all comes down to a really deliberate process you have to do at the very beginning. It boils down to two absolutely critical steps. First, you have to nail down the business case. This is your why. Seriously, why are we doing this? What's the point? What problem are we solving? And second, you define the scope. This is your what. What exactly are we going to do? And this is key. What are we not going to do? The why is your North Star, and the what is the fence that keeps you from wandering off into the woods. Now, this isn't just a brainstorming session. These two ideas, the why and the what, they get formalized. They come together in this super important document called a project charter. And you get there through a process called charter refinement. I want you to think of this charter as the constitution for your project. It's the one document, the single source of truth, that anyone can go back to when questions pop up or things get a little fuzzy. Okay, great. So you've got your blueprint, your project charter is done, awesome. But a blueprint is pretty useless if half the construction crew thinks you're building a shed, while the other half thinks you're building a skyscraper, right? So this next part is all about getting the people, the team, on the same page. I mean, having a plan is one thing, but making sure every single person involved, and I mean everyone, from the person doing the work all the way up to the executive who's signing the checks, making sure they all share the exact same understanding of that plan, that's a whole different ballgame, and it is just as crucial. So how do you do it? Well, there are a few key moves you need to make. First up is stakeholder analysis. That's just a fancy way of saying, let's make a list of every single person this project touches. Then you do stakeholder mapping, where you figure out who's got the most pull and who cares the most. That tells you who you need to talk to constantly. And finally, and this one's a big one, managing executive expectations. You got to get ahead of this, so a big shot exec doesn't swoop in halfway through and try to change everything. Really, what all this stuff boils down to is something pretty simple. You need to understand what every single person hopes to get out of this project. What does a win look like in their world? Once you understand that, then you can start getting everyone rowing in the same direction. Okay, now, I really want to land this final point because it might be the most important takeaway of all. It is so easy to do all this work up front, get the charter right, talk to all the stakeholders, and then go, whew, we're aligned, my job here is done. That, my friends, is a total trap. And here it is, this is the big one. Alignment is continuous. It is not a thing you do once. It's not a box you tick off a list and then forget about. It's something you have to do over and over and over again. Let's go back to that ship analogy. You don't just point the ship toward your destination, lock the wheel, and go take a nap for 3 months, right? Of course not. You're constantly making tiny adjustments, reacting to the wind, the waves, the currents. Well, project alignment is exactly like that. It's a commitment to constantly communicating, constantly checking in to make sure you're all still headed for the same island. So, I'm going to leave you with a challenge. Not just a question, but a challenge. I want you to think about a project you're on right now. Who is one person, just one, that you could have a conversation with this week to get just a little bit more aligned on the why or the what? What's that one simple conversation that can make a huge difference? Because at the end of the day, that's how amazing projects get built. Not with grand gestures, but with one clear conversation at a time.